My name is Rhapsody, his name is sneakyteak, and welcome back to the ladder streak for another week. How's it going, bud?
It's going amazing, and I'm feeling very warm because we've already won a run off stream.
Yeah, I was playing a little bit of this game off stream. I know, it's weird. I don't super do that much recently. I think having taken some time off of doing this as one of my main series that I'm just doing every single day has reinvigorated my hunger for it, and now I'm back in the realm where, like, it's a game that I'm playing in my own time for fun.
Well, I can say, having seen the run that you made in your own time for fun, anybody would play this game in their own time for fun based on what I just witnessed.
Hang on, let's look, if we're gonna talk about it a little bit, I've got to show it off a little bit because it was nutty as absolute hell. Ignore the part that says slain because we
won.
did win.
Let's be clear, this was not a loss.
It's,
we tied.
We tried to flex on the heart, and the flexing killed the heart and us at the same time. I say
turns
us.
Out beat of death goes to 3.
I say us. I'm just trying to shift some of the blame to you.
Oh, I see. I need to be included. Well, I'm not included in that decision.
But
there's 8 sneaky strikes in this deck.
Yep, 8 sneaky strikes, a Snecko-Eye, 2 Wraith Forms, and just a bunch of discard. It was absolutely ridiculous. Obviously, Kunai, Shuriken.
Oh. So you got to know that there was a time, I don't think I've told this story on your channel before, when I first started playing this game, and it's easy to forget that we have all been a baby once before we learned to walk. And when I first started, I still remember it. It was in the summer of 2018. So it was not when the game first came out. It was like June 2018 or something. And one of my good friends introduced me. And at that time, my broadcast was also a lot smaller. And so literally the first couple streams was just me taking directives from them, basically. Okay, what do I do now? You know, how do I play this? Like, what's the rule here? And then eventually I became quite good at the game, but when I started on my training wheels, it was me kind of playing with them through broadcast. But as soon as I took off the training wheels and started playing on my own, my first rule was, thou shalt draft every sneaky strike. Because my name is sneakyteak. I just had to do it. And eventually one of my community members made a reskin of the sneaky strike. That's Kevin, the flamingo mascot, wearing like a face mask. And so I had a long history with this strike, but I have never had more than 3. I have never had 8.
But Teak, have you ever considered just drafting 8? These weren't in shops or duped at all, by the way. They just offered me 8 of them.
This is ridiculous.
Anyhow.
You almost can't make that.
Oh, 100%. I was taking all of the sneaky strikes. I had 4 of them, I believe, in my deck before I got the Snecko-Eye on the first floor.
Oh, God.
Oh. How about we get another first floor Snecko-Eye here with the Ironclad, Ascension 5.
First floor Snecko-Eye, huh? You're gonna boss swap with the Ironclad. Ironclad boss swap is better than people think, but there's at least one option here, which is, I would say actually there's 2 options here which are quite good, other than boss relic.
All right, it's these 2 naturally.
Right. So a lot of times I'm a lot more likely to take the boss swap if I think my Act 1 is weak and my Niao options aren't that strong, right? Like I have to take a curse for the downside, and it's obtain 3 potions, which can be okay, but is less strong on above the Ascension where you lose your 3 potions. But I do think that taking damage, if you're Ironclad in particular and you can heal, taking damage to start fixing up that deck, that's like a really stellar start.
So there's 2 different things, and both of them are driving me towards wanting to take out extra elites, because there is a 4 elite path here that has 2 midline rests later.
Yeah. That's a sweet path.
I kind of want to go for the 24 for the transform 2 cards, obviously, like mega upgrade a strike and a defend or double defend as the case may be if we're going to be going for all the elites. But we do have this shop on an early path just before the first elite. That might get us an aggressive card that helps us get through these 2 elites pretty safely so that we can more comfortably take these. We also have the option to peace out and only take 1 more elite at this point, but we do have to take another elite if we commit to these 2.
And we can even go left above that first elite and pull 1 elite out of the chain. So I would say this. On the typical case, I think that you're just as likely to get aggression through Transform 2 as through 100 gold. By the time we get to that shop, we expect to have about 130 gold, sometimes more, which is enough to buy just about any aggression that we want, except like an Immolate, which might actually be more than that. And so that's the big differentiator for me here is in the absence of having like 4 fights before the event, before the merchant rather, 100 gold might be just enough to buy that sweet damage rare. And sweet damage rare hard carries you through the act, right? So I'm down to go 100 gold here if you want.
I similarly think like the comparison is we're still probably on average getting aggression from this. We're still probably on average getting aggression from this. The difference between them for me is this 24 damage may not be entirely healed by the time we get to the first elite, whereas 100 gold doesn't deal that to us.
True. It could set us further behind. And the 100 gold lets us buy aggression and then also buy a fire pot. So I dig it. I think it's a lower variance path. I dig it.
Oh, you gotta love it when one of the slimes actually lines up with 2 strikes and you don't have to waste the 3rd on the next turn.
Oh gosh, yeah. It is super nice. I oftentimes, on that particular turn, I actually oftentimes go double strike into the back line, by the way.
Oh, right, yeah, because you've already got the block on the first one.
Yeah, specifically when the big slime is the gray slime, because they're so gnarly. And, you know, the front slime will only ever do 4 damage to you, but that back slime is doing 10. And so if I have a chance on turn 1 to put damage into them for a potential turn 2 kill, I'm frequently doing it.
So I always rocket down the frontliner because I'm worried, like, the longer I leave them, the more likely it is they weaken me, and then I have to spend 3 mana on them instead of just 2.
Yeah, no, for sure. It took me a lot of testing both ways to find the types of places to where it's on average better to go for the backliner. There's a little variance there too. You like the headbutt? I love headbutt. I think it's great.
I'm only slightly pushing in the headbutt direction, basically as a way to multiple times in a single cycle utilize the card we get from the shop.
No, I think that's super reasonable. And you never are mad to have a headbutt. You know, even on that 54th floor, you're still quite glad that you've got headbutt because it's deck manipulation in a class that struggles to do that.
I have to tell you at this point, this is meta, this is outside of the game, but Peak is cooking downstairs and it's just, it's just wafting up and I'm gonna be starving this entire run.
Oh god! See, when I'm streaming, I can just be like, okay, I'm gonna go stand up. I'll be back. Go check it out. Maybe get a little bite or something. Oh wow!
Do we give up
that's
the headbutt?
That's kind of wild, isn't it?
I'm honestly kind of leaning that way.
I mean, another way to think of this is that the 100 gold that we got just transformed into a relic, which is, you know, like a trade that we would make.
True.
That's a thing. You can get a common relic in that same slot. The only concern that I have for losing headbutt is if our shop is quite weak, genuinely the having versus not having the headbutt could make a really, really big difference in being able to fight these elites. It seems like it's not that much. It's only 9 damage, but as an example, with vulnerable, that's 13 damage versus the 9 on the strike, and it lets us play uppercut more times against a key target like Lagavulin or pullback, whatever this is. But what, losing 93 leaves us at 140, which might be exactly not enough to buy a rare if it's there. A rare offset is not that high, you know, it may not be there.
I'm also thinking about common relics, 150 with the modifier on either side, right?
Yeah. Okay, let's take a risk. Let's lose the headbutt here.
Okay.
And 93 gold is more than enough to buy a common damage card.
Ooh.
Sick.
Ooh. Rampage is enough to take out all these first floor elites. Rampage Dark Embrace.
What about the bomb? Do you ever buy the bomb?
Oh, wait, hang on. How about we lose to the heart?
We can do that. It's genuinely, I have beaten the heart with Brimstone now probably a half dozen times. But you must plan to win so fast, and also to turn it into either significant healing or and we have Hexaghost too, which means Brimstone can kill you on turn 2.
Very literally, the only reason I'm not going to take it is because of the Hexaghost. Like, I would have fought real hard for it if it wasn't Hexa.
Yeah, that's true. It's way easier if it's slimes. It's fairly easier if it's Guardian, but Hexaghost can toast you.
Let's do it. Let's go bomb. Let's go early upgrade on it as well. If we can.
I do quite like that. It solves tri-sentries.
Still want a rampage?
I think in this case we don't need it. Oh, it's something we can play before Lagavulin pops.
No, I'm gonna play this one safely, but I just love that I had the option there. Just bomb and wait.
Just bomb the lice. Yeah.
Extreme overkill.
Listen, lice. You came into the wrong shop. All right. So
Warcry.
So what do you think about Clash?
I think that we have a very expensive skill in the deck.
Yep. I agree.
Is
it too expensive?
We haven't got any block core online, and that is mostly going to be skills as well.
Yeah, probably.
So
I'm just kind of mouthing it. So okay, sometimes I should note, when I am talking about cards here or on a stream or anywhere, sometimes I'm saying this is definitely good, and sometimes I'm saying I wasn't able to instantly evaluate if this was good. So I kind of just want to mouth it. Like I'm just going to swish it around a little bit. You know what I mean? And that's what I thought with Clash immediately is like, okay, well, agreed, the bomb is a 2-cost skill, which makes it harder to play. But we're low enough that we don't have a Cinder's Bane. The proclivity of statuses is a lot lower here. And on a turn where we play Bomb Defend, Clash is a lot of front-loaded damage to kill something like a Louse or something. And in general, I find that Clash is very, very takeable up to Ascension 10. But is that 1-2-cost skill enough to make it to where we'll whiff on it enough times? Because if we whiff on it once or twice, it's no big deal. But if we're whiffing on it every single time, now we've got a problem.
It's less the 2-cost skill, and it's more that because we have the 2-cost skill and not yet a block core. Because if we had like, a couple Shrug-it-offs in the deck, or if we just had any way of defending that didn't necessarily require, putting wounds into our hand or anything that would also deactivate the Clash, then I feel way more comfortable putting it into the deck. But right now,
does it make us take less damage to elites right now? I guess if that's the argument, then the answer is, well, we have meat on the bone, so don't worry about that. Okay, I'm convinced. Well, tell me about this Warcry.
The reason I kind of want Warcry a little bit is so that on the turns that I do have way too much energy expected to be able to play all of my cards, and especially if I have bash, uppercut, uppercut, bomb, bomb, bash, Warcry gets me the ability to set one of them for the next turn.
I think that's actually really good. And Ironclad ends up in this position a lot, to where you have too many 2 costs in Act 1. I like this Warcry. I think that's clever, actually. I think that's clever. It's cards seen neutral, right? It's not draw neutral or draw positive because we didn't have to draft it, but it's cards seen neutral. I think it makes sense. So do you bash and then open next turn?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, it's perfect. It's perfect. We might even get the bomb again.
So how much extra damage is represented by a flex potion at this point? This goes to 11. 11 with vulnerability is 16. So 16 by 3.
Versus 9.
48.
7 each. Wait, what?
Huh? Oh,
48 damage is what we're doing. I was just trying to calc the difference. It's a fire pot.
It's a fire pot at this point. Okay.
Yeah. Which is pretty legit.
Let's see if we get... Okay, we did. So do we just bomb instead then?
Yeah, double bomb is basically dead, right? And then that lets us save the flex potion to push down a Tri-Sentry or Gremlin Knob.
Yeah.
I think we can get out of this without,
We pop the defend back atop the deck and just trip defend next turn.
Yeah, that's perfect. That's perfect. Nice.
Great.
Yeah, bomb, part of the thing with taking bomb was that our hope was that we wouldn't need a lot of potions for lag or for Tri-Sentries, so that we can blow all of our potions in Gremlin. And that's exactly where I hope we get to land. It looks like we will.
It's gonna be totally fine. Hell yeah.
Turtle.
Get him. Ooh.
Sure.
Are you saying that you're turtly enough to join that turtle club? Also, this shuriken looks like it could be pretty good.
I mean, we're not going to leave that weapon of mass destruction on the ground. Holy Jesus. Yeah. We got our brimstone. Congrats.
And it's a brimstone that only affects us as well.
Yeah. That's awesome. Wow.
Dude, I think we can take the damage because of the meat on the bone and burning blood.
Yeah, I agree. Oh my gosh, that made our flex potion so much better too. Oh, Raps. This is early enough. Okay, listen. I'm not about to sit here and say that it's going to be possible for me to draft some piddly 35 card deck. Okay, nothing that small interests me. But I think we can be smaller than usual because Shuriken plus Limit Break can be your entire damage scaling core. It can be.
Teak! I'm so happy. This is my grand finale. Let's do it.
Yeah, yeah. And we've got the bomb to solve our front load damage. Well, front load is a bit of a stretch, but like our front loaded damage for the immediate term.
Perfectly set to half HP as well.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Das Bomba.
Yes. This turn sucks.
No, this turn is perfect. We won.
Oh, wait. Right. At the end of the turn.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Can we talk about the bomb, though? Because would you have drafted this bomb?
So if I do end up with a bunch of money early on, oftentimes I will take a rare from the shop, like specifically a rare colorless from the shop, and just try and make it work. I have done a lot of bomb runs, but I think the bomb just didn't appear to me when I walked into that store, and there were enough other things that I was like, I want to click that. So I don't know if I
really like the early bomb on basically everyone but Watcher. Just because Watcher doesn't need that help and it doesn't synergize with anything else that she's doing. It's like there's enough damage for your Act 1 in a single card. And that's often something you're looking for, right?
Do we want to thin down the deck more, or do we want to headbutt and then get the limit break back more consistently as well?
I feel like with Hexaghost coming up, well, okay, so the one consideration is our remaining 2 elites. But in general, I would probably take this True Grit before the headbutt, just because there's no guarantee that the order works out there anyway. The deck is small enough that it's probably better for boss fights to just cycle better, and it's just a little bit of fixing.
I like it.
But they're both quite good, right? Oh my god. I mean, we definitely take this.
Yeah, we have 2
never
sources.
skip this. Yeah. Especially with, that's even more scaling on our damage scaling, right? I mean, think about it this way. If we get to 10 strength, which is perfectly reasonable thing to expect that we get to in this run with this setup. If we have 10 strength, our strike goes from a 6 to a 16. Initially, that strike would be at 6, and vulnerable would make it do 9. At 16, with the paper frog, it's increased by 75%, so that's plus 12. The strike's doing 28 damage.
Do we want to use the flex limit?
Do we have we're about to come up on a fire, aren't we?
Yes.
And we've only played... Why don't we War Cry? This will cycle us.
Yeah, if we War Cry, we're locking True Grit, Strike, Defend, and Limit Break out of the next cycle, but we do get to the next bomb much quicker.
I think that that's the way to play for us, and then we just put True Grit on top, potentially. Because the bomb just wins for us.
I'm also just going to burn the Limit Break. It's not going to be useful this time.
Okay. That was a tricky one, though, because I think that it reduces our variance significantly to go flex limit there, but I would rather use the bomb and save.
Okay, we should be fine. Again, below half HP. Oh my god, there we go.
Can we take 2 damage here?
What do you mean 2 damage? We're below half HP.
Oh, we got more HP. We got a fruit.
Yeah.
The fruit cocktail has begun. I didn't even notice.
Chomped down. Oh my god, get us to that half HP more commonly, please.
Oh my god.
Do we? We do.
Always.
It's also sword boomerangs here. It would be a really good damage dealer.
Oh no, we've been offered the gift of clothes.
All right.
Go free, Dobby. Now that corruption is rare, if I'm sure that it's not going to kill me immediately to take it, right? Because I've had situations where I took a corruption as my Niao bonus and then died in Act 1. It's rare, but it can happen. But if you're already mostly online, just click it. It's always going to be so good. Yeah. Just click away, Dobby.
It's time to go.
Because we draw a bomb here, and it's free. Or we don't. Oh my gosh. It's so incredible.
Come on, bomb and 4 defense. No, that's the worst.
Nah, it's okay. Meat on the bone will bail us out.
Yeah, meat on the bone has done so much work so far. Okay. Is there anything really useful to set? I mean, am I going to be maybe in the second cycle I weaken a character. Or defeat it.
Yeah, that's a good point. Maybe we do just get a kill here. A character. Are these the NPCs on the game board of Spire?
Well, let me ask you a question. Can you play as them?
That's true. You can't. That makes them non-player
Sentinels.
Sentinels, yeah. Yeah.
Trying to remember what I call them.
Oh
my god!
Sentient sentinels, sentries.
Get that money!
Get that money.
Like, we have 4 cards here. I mean, uppercut as well, that all desperately want an upgrade.
So I will say, I probably upgrade uppercut here. And the reason is it's such a strong upgrade. And also, in an ideal world for us with corruption, instead of upgrading limit break, we just get more copies of it. Just because that makes it much, much easier to do the mental gymnastics of, do I get to play the thing right now? The answer is, you get to play the thing, right? So, I don't know. We're still going to have some fights to where we decide to wait a cycle for corruption, probably, but it gets a lot easier.
Well,
more.
The bomb is going to be fine here, but we're going to take another 12. Guess it's below our half, but it's significantly below our half.
Is the consideration, can we uppercut?
Yeah. Uppercut for the weakness, strike instead, just try and complete the fight without the bomb.
We might be able to get away with that, actually.
Corruption in the next cycle just forces us to be able to play all of those defends. You get back to the next cycle and just complete. I mean, because 13, 9, so 21.
Yeah, we should do it. We should uppercut. We should uppercut because Paper Frog, yeah. Good call. I think you're right.
Nice.
Was that Warcry? What did we hand ourselves? A strike?
Strike, yeah. Just wanted to have the ability to lock him out.
Smart.
Do we even need to worry? They just, like, block the 8 this turn? Single strike next turn kills... No, it doesn't kill the frontliner.
Because we won't be vuln and they'll be blocking. We should kill them. Okay, so we ended up taking, with the weakness, the first turn was 13, and then it went down by 25% to... That's down to 9, I guess. Then we took another 5. This probably did save us life. It's not like an immense amount of savings, but this did save us life.
It matters a little bit, especially when you're trying to dance around half HP constantly to get the best usage of both Red Skull and the meat on the bone.
Yeah, agreed.
Now I want this sword boomerang. I just want a way to deal damage with the limit break.
Yeah, I think 1 sword boomerang, absolutely. Plus, we're prepping for the point to where birds go up to 4 hits instead of 3. That's like secretly one of the biggest jumps in the game. Is Ascension 17, you got to hit birds more times. It makes a huge difference.
I had an off-camera run where I was also in Ascension 20 and I was getting the Ironclad to have the Nyaz bonus at the start of the run because I just trashed it in a previous run. But it was a extremely promising run. I was having a huge amount of fun.
Right.
I got to birds and I was like, hit them 3 times, they're going to go on the ground. Hang on. I forgot about this, and then I had my ass roundly handed to me.
As one does.
Naturally.
So
we've got...
What do you think?
Just this upgrade. So I kind of want the limit break here. Reason being, I think that cycling it is going to give us the ability to actually take out the enemy. I don't really want to use corruption. I don't want to burn out every other skill in the deck and just constantly be drawing burns. So
yeah, that's pretty fair.
I think this fight is like a little bit slower, but we utilize limit break and we end up just blowing up the enemy. Probably don't end up using bomb, just like keep them uppercut and use the strikes to try and increment through the shuriken.
So a counter, though, is that with Paper Frog and Shuriken, and actually to that matter, Red Skull, I don't think that this deck does have any trouble killing Hexaghost, even if we burn the whole thing with corruption. I think that by the point that there's no defense left, we've got a couple burns, but we're actually killing enemies really, really rapidly.
So do we want to upgrade something for the next floor?
Right. And so that's why I was leaning either Bash for that 3rd turn of Vulnerable, or actually the Sword Boomerang, because that gives it even more hits. It shreds more plated armor against Angry Avocado. It helps bring down birds faster, and it takes on that, 3 to 6 points of strength, all the better.
So when do we get the Dark Embrace upgraded? Because it feels like next floor, we're just going to be dragging it along behind us for a while.
Yeah, that's a fair point. So this is where I anchor really hard, and I certainly don't land this perfectly. But as is usually the case, we are currently Ironclad, and we would take Snecko Skull. And so I have trouble upgrading energy upgrades right before the first boss. But honestly, you're only seeing that something like, I think we calced it at some point, and maybe it was 14% of runs or something. You see that there? So it's non-trivial, but it's not an average case.
There's also the inversion of maybe it should have been Limit Break if we ever planned to play it multiple times because of the Fusion Hammer.
Right. Yeah, exactly. If we want to play it multiple times, we need a Fusion Hammer. Yeah. Yeah.
Just going to get my point of strength there.
Smart. It's tricky, isn't it?
It is. It's tricky in every way, including the rocking of rhymes. Can we just pop the... Because if we pop that, the sword boomerang might go away as well. Unless we use the energy potion to cast it.
That is an interesting option. Would be like corruption, energy pot, play the 2 attacks, and then... And then... Do we need to? There's always the option here to go defend sword boomerang true grit, and if it hits corruption, this deck can still win without corruption for this fight. If this were Act 2 boss, I don't think I would risk that.
Yeah, I'm happy with that.
Okay.
Nice.
Get both. Why get bad outcome when good outcome better?
Exactly. Why are you choosing this bad outcome intentionally? Just uppercut, limit, just go for it.
I think we should just limit, yeah. I think we should just limit. 8 is more than enough strength for us to close this fight. But you know, I say these things so easily, but I don't think that this is an easy thing to acquire. Like, it's easy to forget that we've spent 20-some million hours acquiring that intuition.
So I will 100% agree with you, because for me, I've mentioned this before, like, that Sneaky Strike deck before had 8 Sneaky Strikes in it. And I was not capable of giving it 1 Sneaky Strike, or 4 Sneaky Strikes, or 3 Sneaky. It had to be either 0 or 8. Right? And something that you said in one of the first, it may have actually been the first episode that we worked together. You were talking about outscaling a fight in terms of the damage that you would get from strength. And in particular, you said, we've got 4 strength. That's enough. We've outscaled the fight. Like, this is good enough for us at this point. And constantly, previously in the past, I've lacked the ability to recognize we are fine. We are now achieving everything. We no longer need to go past this point. Because to me, if I'm getting strength in the deck, I'm going for 20.
Right. You want enough strength to where a single strike can fell a god.
Exactly.
Right? And those are great moments. And actually, some decks do need that. But in most cases, a handful of strength goes so far. Yeah. But you know, these are all intuitions that we build and reinforce over time. I've lost to Hexaghost before on a sweet Pandora's Box start with Defect. And I lost because I just barely misjudged what the deck needed to do to win. And so it happens. I think we take more Limit Break. I think we do it. I think we do the thing we talked about.
How much do you think we're getting that Snecko Eye, though?
Yeah, that's a good point. If we are getting Snecko Eye, we certainly click this demon form.
I think we have too many energy problems playing the deck at the moment.
I think Limit Break here is crazy with Shuriken and Red Skull. So strong.
Oh, come on!
No! Come on!
Well, we click it.
Now I'm mad. I've never been mad about Snecko before. What are you doing in my dojo? No, you know what? We have corruption. So the limit breaks are always free.
Oh yeah, it's going to be super easy. We're just going to take corruption, obviously. Do we now super thicken up the deck, or do we now just look for spot weakness and go? Spot weakness, Reaper, go.
Spot weakness, Reaper, and soon actually strike removals, because we'll get to the point to where uppercut and bash are now so much better than strike. It's not even close. There's no contest. This is an awesome start. I can't believe that it all. Look at those relics. Are you kidding me?
Look at how many rares we have.
Yeah, true. That's 4 rares Act 1. 1 purchased. 1 gained by ill-gotten means. Rares. Yeah. Can we make it higher? I want to beat the heart with a 38% rare deck.
You know what?
That's the perfect level of doneness.
We're going to have to work towards that in the next act. For the moment. Wait, hang on. No, I don't do a for the moment. For the moment is my outro. There's a link in the description down below for Act 2, and we will see you there.